In Season 21 of our Building a Nation save with Sweden, we're obviously in charge of Sweden, and we have the Euros qualifiers this time around. So we're not going to win anything, but we should, looking at our opposition, we should be easily getting through this group. We should win it, or maybe be second. Basically, it's going to be Sweden and Poland, and then Armenia, Faroe Islands and Luxembourg are going to finish 3rd, 4th and 5th. They can fight amongst themselves. As for our Norrköping side, last season we did win the league for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. This season, I would like to do the same thing. We've also managed to qualify through the Europa League phase, and we've actually finished about 3rd, I believe, in the group, but we did lose against Nice, a 5-2 defeat, but we beat Slovako 3-0. And there you can see we did actually finish 3rd place. Brighton and Leipzig, the only teams ahead of us. So that is a huge amount of coefficient points for our Sweden nation. Also, Djurgården's getting through. Also, 5 wins for Djurgårdens. We've got Helsingborg getting into the playoffs with 4 wins as well. If we jump up to the Champions League, this is where things haven't gone so well. Mjällby managed to get 2 wins against Marseille and Young Boys. Draws against Man City and Ajax is pretty impressive, but then losing against Man United, Real Madrid, Bayern and Club Brugge. Club Brugge is not a good one to be losing that one. And in the Europa Conference League, we have a Swedish side in the shape of Kalmar with 3 wins and 3 draws. Already on the 1st of February, some transfers have taken place, and one of them has been somewhat interesting. In fact, quite a few of them are a bit interesting. Daniel Olsen, first up, leaving the club, signing for Malmo on a free transfer. Interesting transfer number 1 is Mohamed Dobal. He has left the club and he has moved over to Real Madrid on a free transfer. He's gone from like £12,000 a week to £74,000 a week, and he's already made his debut even though he's a backup. We've also sold Jorge Nunes. He has moved over to Braga. This might have been a mistake, but he wanted to leave because he wanted to get into the Portuguese squad. He wasn't ever going to become Swedish, and we've sold him for £5 million, possibly going up to £6.25 million. And we have sold Keimo Gashi to BK Häcken. More importantly, in fact, we haven't sold Gashi to BK Häcken. We've part-exchanged him because I thought to myself, I feel like if I'm going to be stealing players from other teams in Sweden, I should at least give them something in exchange and in return. And I think Gashi is a very good player. He's not really playing for us. He's going to be a very good player for Häcken, and this is a good thing. We've also brought in their best striker, and he's only 18. Samuel Dumbaya has been brought in as part of this exchange deal. 18 years of age, 6 caps for the Ivory Coast with 2 goals. He's not actually scored for BK Häcken in 15 league games, and we've brought him in for £1.6 million plus Gashi. And I know it's early days, but we are already locking in Dumbaya to be our lead striker for the season. He's already 2.5 star current ability. We don't really have anyone else to challenge him. We've got Fotso, which if we have a look at Fotso, he's good, but he's only got 10 finishing, whereas Dumbaya has 16. I feel like at 18 years of age, Dumbaya could become a world-class footballer in the next 10 or so seasons. Obviously, transfer window still open, has literally just opened up for us. We've got £15.5 million to spend. We've got around £170,000 of a wage budget to spend. One season, at some point, we are just going to throw money at things because I'm going to see that and it's burning a hole in my pocket right now already. And I don't think there's anything else to talk about for sort of facilities and stuff. I do keep asking, by the way, for training and youth facilities. They're good. The youth facilities, they keep rejecting. They don't want to do it for some reason. I don't know why. Everything else is top notch. The youth facilities, they're like, nah, don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about getting the best youth players. They're kind of missing the point. And it does make me wonder, do we need to leave Norrköping and go to another team who want to invest in youth? I feel like we're far too late. Maybe Norrköping was not the team to go to because their board does not care about youth development. Maybe we should have gone to somebody who actually did. Anyway, obviously we have got 3 competitions this season. We've got the Europa League to finish off, and then the Champions League to begin. We've got the Swedish Cup, and obviously the Allsvenska, the Swedish Premier Division. We will be playing all of the Swedish Cup, bar the final, I assume, in between this bit and the end of the transfer window. So let's jump forward to see how well things have gone. Have we made it to the Swedish Cup final? And also, we will probably be playing, actually, a Europa League match or 2. In fact, I think we will be playing those ones there. It is now the 29th of March, and we have just about somehow managed to scrape past Austria Vienna in the Europa round of 16 because we won the home leg 6-2, and then we lost the away leg 4-1, but we go through 7-6 on aggregate. And it means we will be playing Real San Sebastian in the quarter-final, which is arguably one of the tougher ties. I guess probably not the toughest. We know Leipzig and Brighton finished ahead of us. I mean, Vitoria, probably the one you're after, maybe Galatasaray. But I kind of think we should be able to get past Real San Sebastian. A semi-final in a Europa League would be pretty good. In the Swedish Cup as well, we have made it all the way to the final. We'll be up against Djurgårdens, a Swedish Cup, by the way, that we don't really have a huge amount of luck in. We have been in it 4 times with Helsingborg, with Norrköping, and we've only won 2 of them. Last season, we were in it against Helsingborg, and obviously we did lose against Helsingborg. So maybe this is the 5th time in 5 seasons we've been in the final. I want to win it again, please. 3 players have joined the club over the pre-season transfer window. First up is Manuel Bikoro, who is a Cameroonian international with 2 caps to his name, 19 years of age. He's immediately gone out on loan to Skövde. He's come in for £325,000. In fact, we brought him from Skövde and then sent him back to Skövde. I swear I bought him from Yaoundé. Anyway, yeah, he's cost some money. We've also brought in a Northern Irish international from Manchester City and loaned him out to AIK. It is Norman Burgess. He has come in for £425,000. He's had a weird time. He's played in Portugal and then moved to Man City on a free transfer. We've brought him and then he's gone over to AIK. He's not actually played a professional match anywhere, but my scouts think he's good and he's got some reasonable physical numbers, reasonable mental numbers. So I kind of think he might be okay. I think I brought him in basically to be a backup left back. That was kind of the ultimate goal, to bring him in. But maybe we recall him from AIK, or maybe next season we try and force play him, see if that 4-star potential is actually true. And the final thing we have done is we have moved over to Ecuador and picked up Luis Gomez for £2.2 million from Emelec. He's a big 6'5" giant with 19 caps to his name. Mentally got some good numbers. Physically as well got some good numbers. 16 jumping reach at 6'5". Heading of 10 is not ideal, but he is still only 20 years of age. He's coming in as an important player, but I'm not too convinced he will be. We will see how things play out. The only real big transfer to leave the club is Romeo Sumahuro, who has moved over to Mjällby. I think I mentioned maybe last season or the one before that Sumahuro is a player that needs to get some football. He's not getting it for us. I think there is potential there. And I've gone, you know what? I'm just holding on to this player that could be really good and actually help out another team. So I've sold him on for £2.6 million, possibly going up to 3.2. He has gone over to Mjällby, obviously, you can see there. And I'm hoping they just start to play him. I feel like he needs to get some game time. He's still only 23, plenty of time to develop. I think he's going to be really good. He was just never going to play for us. And that's basically it. We've also got rid of Dino Amatovic. He's gone to Kalmar. We've got rid of Peter Lindholm, who has gone to Varbergs. And I think everyone else is a loan deal. We obviously have got some quite big loan deals to mention. Bikoro, we know. Dolk going out to Östersund. I mean, Aydin, you see, I know we signed him a couple of seasons ago. Going to AIK, I feel like he's not good enough to be playing for AIK. Carlson, we've got Kiowa, has gone out on loan as well. I feel like he should be better. He should be playing a much better side than that. But maybe that was kind of a waste of money. Anyone else worth mentioning? We've mentioned Norman Burgess, Isaac Sprangberg has gone to Halmstad, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh, Maveng, there you go, Foppa Maveng. There's apparently potential there. Everything's going downwards. So yeah, somewhat of a busy winter transfer window, but that is what we have done. Obviously, financially, still looking pretty good. £14 million transfer budget. Just want to have a quick check here. If we go to, it's not that one, it's that one. We can have a look at the board. And have they actually managed to do anything I've asked them to do? I've asked them to build a new stadium twice and improve the youth facilities. And guess what? They've said no to all of them. And yeah, we've managed to get some performance analyst wage increases. That wasn't me. I didn't ask for that. They just went, would you like to do it? I went, sure, why not? The reason why I want to do the stadium, by the way, is because we don't own this stadium. It's costing us £400,000 a year, which is nothing really in the grand scheme of things. But also, it's not that big. It's only 24,000 seater. Arguably, we could maybe sell 30,000 every single match if we are kind of Champions League standard, which we are. So I would like to own our own stadium, but I feel like time is definitely running out for us to be able to do that with Norrköping. And a quick update on Sweden. Yeah, we've not played any matches just yet. So time to jump forward to after this Elfsborg game. I believe we'll return somewhere between Elfsborg and Hammarby, and our transfer window will be open. There will obviously be a lot more Sweden games playing as well. We've got the Swedish Cup final. We've got the Real San Sebastian 2-leg affair as well in the Europa League quarterfinals. Let's see how well things go. First of all, in the Swedish Cup final, we were not very good. In fact, we were good. We just could not score a goal. And Djurgårdens managed to score 3 goals. We had a better XG, which I always say this, it's a nonsense stat, but it kind of shows that we are having reasonable shots. But are we? When you have 23 shots, having a lot of XG does not mean they're good shots. It just means you're having a lot of shots. If you've got 3 shots with 2 XG or 12 shots with 8 XG, they're about the same kind of importance, right? Anyway, that's just me waffling on about stats and numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, we've lost against the Gardens, so we've been in 5 of the last 5 cup finals, and we've won 2 of them. And in the Europa League, we did get knocked out by Real San Sebastian. We actually managed to draw the first leg 2-2, and then lose the second leg 3-1. So we picked up a little bit of coefficient points, but we do eventually lose. The winners were Tottenham Hotspur. But that's fine, because this time around, we are in the Champions League, and we go straight in at the league phase. Which, I keep saying this, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like being in the Europa League is probably more preferable. And we might get our wish, because so far this season, we're currently sat 2nd place in the table. Helsingborg top the pile at the moment. I want to have a quick look. Does it tell us? So if we finish 2nd place, we go into... So winner goes straight into the league phase. 2nd place goes into a qualifying round. And then we've got Europa League playoff, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. So... I mean, if we don't want to get Champions League, we have to finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Finishing 5th could be interesting. Getting in the Europa Conference League, we could definitely win. One thing, though, that I will say, Samuel Dumbaya, locked in as a striker, has scored 9 league goals so far this season. In all competitions, if you include basically the Swedish Cup, which doesn't appear here because it was technically last season, he scored 15 goals for us. He is basically setting the world on fire. He's got 9 in 14 league starts. That's just madness. And Tansman as well, by the way, who's locked in behind him, he's got 8 goals in all competitions. Just 3 of them in the Swedish Premier Division, so 5 of them coming in the Swedish Cup. Anyway, a transfer window is open, and we've already managed to sell one of our bigger named players, and Felix Honey is the man to leave the club. The Ghanaian international, 65 caps to his name, has moved over to West Ham in the Premier League for £1.8 million, possibly going up a little bit higher to £1.9 million. He just wasn't really playing for us this season, and I feel like it's time to cash in. Basically, if we cash in now, we can get better than him. He's not amazing anymore. He was amazing when we first brought him in, but he's not amazing now. And that is it. We haven't done any more transfer business as of yet. Obviously, financially, we've got £20 million now to spend because we keep getting money and we never actually spend it. So let's jump forward then to the end of our transfer window. Let's see what business we can do. Is this the season where we spend £15 million and bring in players that I really did not need to sign? Or are we going to be sensible? We have brought in 5 new players into the club, and we've also smashed our record transfer with a £4.5 million signing, but we will get to that in a minute. We've also got rid of a few fringe players, but more importantly, with these fringe players, we have kept them in Sweden. Cedric Matip, first up, stays in Sweden, moves over to Hammarby for £51,000. Mayor Mahmoud has moved over to BK Häcken for £500,000. He was actually out of contract at the end of this season. The fact they've paid that money now is quite impressive. And for possibly up to £750,000, Alexander Green has moved over to Helsingborg. I think there's going to be some potential there, but he might be a late bloomer, maybe something along those lines, because those mental numbers, really, really good, but I feel like he was hindering us by us force playing him for a season or 2, so he's moved over to Helsingborg, and hopefully he's going to do well there. He's already played once and got an assist. In order of expense, 2 free transfers have joined the club. Tomoyasu Ishikawa has joined. A 25-year-old Japanese international has signed from Vissel Kobe, technically, although it might have been Porto, actually. He's probably on loan there. Yes, he was. So he signed from Porto on a free transfer. Definitely kind of a bit more of a squad player, but also I kind of went, he's Japanese, you'd sometimes get a bit of like the revenue from signing a Japanese footballer. We didn't get it, even though he's got 9 caps. The other free transfer was Alexander Popov, a 23-year-old Ukrainian international with 5 caps. 5 caps, 5 goals to his name after 27 caps, formerly of Shakhtar Donetsk. Once again, free transfer. He probably should be playing first-team football, but we're not going to do it because obviously Dumbaya is going to be our number 1 striker. For £1.5 million, we have signed from Olympia in Slovenia, Zan Rosman, a 19-year-old Slovenian centre-back, 11 caps to his name, definitely one for the future, but also good enough to play now. He is a centre-back by trade, but can also play as a right-back if we really need him to. I think centre-back's probably his position. He's 6 foot, and he can't, I say he can't run, he can run, but he can't do things like crossing and dribbling and stuff like that, so maybe a full-back, not necessarily what we need him for, but a centre-back, definitely good enough for us. For £1.6 million, we have signed John Jairo Ayala Fajaro, maybe, from Millonarios in Colombia, 19 years of age, 1 cap to his name. Bit more of a squad player, this one, even though his contract says important player. He's not, let's be honest, he's not an important player, he's a squad player. I think he could be good. Apparently he's 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential, 19 years old, plenty of time to develop, definitely one for the future, but also could do a job now. And for £4.5 million, Rafael Galvantino, is a Portuguese under-21 international, 23 years old at the moment. No full caps, signed from Juve for £4.5 million, and he's good, right? Physically, he is tip-top condition. Mentally, he got some very good numbers. Lots of 15s. If they just jumped up by 1 point, that would look ridiculous because he's on 15s in decisions, determination, positioning, and work rate. If they all went up by 1 point, that would look really, really good. Technically, not amazing, but he's got some technique, he's got some tackling, he's got some passing, he's got some marking, he's got some numbers. I believe that's the role we play. He's got some reasonable numbers for what we actually need him to do. Obviously, we've done some loan deals as well. Gazozo going out on loan to Varbergs. Anything else really of interest? Martinez, obviously, is quite an important one, going out on loan to AIK. But that is it. That's all we've done. I say all we've done. We spent 12.25. We've brought in £11.25 million. Lots of money has been changing hands in the last couple of seasons with us Norrköping side. In fact, for the last 3 seasons, we have brought in nearly £10 million or more. And with all that transfer business as well, our finances are still fine. Nothing's really a problem at all. Obviously, the Champions League has not kicked off, but the Swedish Premier Division has continued, and we have jumped to the top of the table now. 51 points, so what is that? 4 points ahead of Helsingborg in second, and 9 points clear of Mjällby in third. Our 3 teams that we've managed in this Building a Nation save right at the top of the Swedish Premier Division, which is nice to see. And Dumbuya now is on 17 league goals in 22 starts. It looks like a very sensible bit of money there. Just want to check as well, Gashi is playing for them. Not as often as I thought he would, but he's getting some game time, which is good. Oh, speaking of hacking as well, they've loaned Berthelsson as well. He's not playing for them apparently. Coming off the bench 3 times. So, in the Champions League then, I've got high hopes here because we've got Atletico Madrid. I think we should be able to beat them. Olympia definitely should be able to beat. Galatasaray, yes. Arsenal, maybe. Monaco, we should be able to. Young Boys, we should be able to. Porto, we should be able to. Newcastle, maybe. That one might be a little bit tougher. So I think we're in with a good shout of finishing maybe top 8. I think realistically, 9th to sort of 16th is probably where we might land. But I'm happy with that because that means we're going to be picking up a decent amount of coefficient points. Oh, and speaking of coefficient points, I haven't touched this in a while because it's not been going well. We did have a good season last time around with 17.2 because we got to the Europa League quarter-final, but every other season has not been any higher than a 12.4. So this is the struggle we're having. No one's getting far in any competition. When we're in the Champions League, we don't get past the round of 16, but when we're in the Europa League, we get reasonably far. The problem is when anyone else is in the Europa League, they don't get very far at all either. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. The other teams in Sweden aren't good enough to progress in Europe, and we're not good enough to progress in the Champions League. I don't really know how to fix that. Another thing we've done over the summer is we have recalled Burgess from AIK. He didn't play for them. And I thought, you know what? If we're going to prove or disprove that he has 4-star potential ability, he needs to get some game time. So we've recalled him, we've locked him into the starting 11. He's played 7 times so far, scoring twice and getting an assist. I believe he did that on his debut. Or, yeah, not his debut, sorry. He got his first goal in his second appearance against Varbergs, then an assist against Landskroll, and he's just scored as well against Orbro. So this could be good. He's not very good right now, but something's telling me we should be playing him. And he's still only 22, so got plenty of time still to turn into a half-decent footballer. Everyone else remains the same, locked in. So Dubois is our number 1 goalkeeper, Tansman as the attacking midfielder, and Dumbuya as a striker. Dubois, by the way, he's actually turning into a good goalkeeper. We might have managed to find a good goalkeeper in this Building a Nation save. It's taken 21 seasons to do it. Oh, and I know we've not really talked about the Sweden side so far this season because basically we're just during the qualifiers. We are currently top of the group, 3 wins out of 3. We've basically won everything, haven't we? Faroe Islands 3-2, Luxembourg 1-0, and an Armenia 6-0 victory. I said it would be us and Poland at the top. So far, it is us and Poland at the top. Luxembourg chasing Poland pretty heavily because of the draw that they had. Realistically, what's going to happen is Poland will beat them in the next match that they play, and it will be Sweden and Poland going through. So next season, we should be in the European Championships. Let's jump forward and find out whether that's true, and also, let's see whether we can win at the Allsvenska once again. It is true. We have managed to qualify for the Euros. We have won the group. 7 wins, 1 defeat. We lost against Poland on the final game. We lost 4-0. We won the other 7, so 4-0. against Faroes, 4-0 against Luxembourg, 5-0 against Armenia, and a 5-0 against Poland as well. So we have picked up some very, very good results there. It does mean we are now in the Euros, which obviously does not start until the 10th of June next season, but we'll find out who we're going to be playing in the Euros next time around. And when it comes to Norrköping, the Champions League's not going well. We've beat Young Boys and Olympia 7-0 and 4-1. Looks good on paper. We've drawn from Atletico Madrid. I kind of expect we might be able to get something against those. Problem is, we have lost against Monaco, Arsenal and Galatasaray. The Galatasaray one hurts. Monaco and Arsenal, kind of, I thought we maybe might lose those ones. Galatasaray, we should not be losing that kind of game. It does mean in our final 2 matches of this Champions League, we need to win them. Or at least we need to win one, draw one, probably against Porto and Newcastle. A Porto side who are in 17th. A Newcastle side who are down in 27th. Newcastle maybe not as good as I thought they were. Oh, but somebody who is as good as I thought we were is our Norrköping side. We have won the league, and not only have we won the league, we have absolutely smashed the league. We've won 4 of the last 5 now, and we have won this one by a whopping 14-point gap between us and Helsingborg and Mjällby. Both of my former teams finishing on 58 points. Helsingborg get the Champions League, Mjällby get the Europa League, Kalmar go into the Europa Conference League, and we don't know whether Häcken are going to go into the Europa League or the Europa Conference League or whatever because of the Swedish Cup, which happens next season. So I guess at least we've won the league. That's a bright spot. The fact that we haven't really done too well in the Champions League is not great. Samuel Dumbaya has scored 24 league goals, 31 goals in all competitions. Technically, if we actually have a look at the squad, he scored 37 once you include the group stages and the knockout rounds of the Swedish Cup. So he has had an absolutely ridiculous first season playing for us. Traslavina's got 20, Julius Brown has 17, Tansman has 14 as well. So we're getting some really good performances, some really good goals. Assist-wise, Brown on 16, Bergman as a right-back, I believe, predominantly getting 13, 11 for Dumbaya. Tansman as well is up there. Sabo is up there with 9. We've got Traslavina with 9. Norman Burgess is up there, 5 assists and 2 goals. Is he getting better? Is he worth trying to stick around and turn him into a decent footballer? I don't know. I'm not convinced he is improving. Is he improving quick enough? Probably not. Oh, and I don't mention this too much because, let's face it, my board hate youth players. They hate children completely. They hate them. But we are starting to get some players in that might be good. I'm still not convinced. This is apparently one of our better ones. Are they good? He looks rubbish. Hugo Eklund, he could be okay. Our youth intakes are just absolutely dire. And before you say anything, it's your head of youth development or anything like that, this is our director of football. He's not bad, is he? I don't know whether he has too much impact on it. And this is our head of youth development, formerly of Malmo, former manager of Malmo, 17s and 16s. We should be getting some good players because of him. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. Anyway, that's going to draw a close to season 21 with Norrköping and technically Sweden. We are champions once again. I do want to have a very quick look. My profile. How many trophies have I won? Can we find out? I love this hilarious fact that I've never actually played a game. I've holidayed 4,668 days, and every single one of them has involved a match as well. So we've holidayed a lot of football. Can we find trophies? Job history? There we go. I mean, this kind of shows it, doesn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different trophies, and most of them actually the Swedish Premier Division, which is quite nice to see. That's going to do it then for Season 21. Season 22, we will be off to the Euros with Sweden.